Hey, everybody. It is me again, All Things Wonderful, and I'm back kicking off this next video. But before we get started, I just want to encourage everybody to like, comment, subscribe to this content. Also, go ahead and click that notification bell. That way you are notified whenever I do release a new video. But before we get started, y'all already know how we do over here. We're going to go ahead and take some deep breaths in and out while meditating on soaking in his presence. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, the topic today is going to be, let's talk proper child development. And I feel like the Holy Spirit has really and truly been leading me on this topic. And, I feel like this is going to be a really important topic because the Holy Spirit has really been guiding me to this topic. So I really want everyone, all the true chosen, to hone in on this discussion of proper child development, because in the times to come, I feel like this is going to be very important. This is what the Most High really wants us to be focused on. And so let's go ahead and go deep into this discussion. So what I have been discovering is that, a lot of sin is based off trauma. Even after the great Exodus, even after Noah, sin still found a way of entering into the world. And I do believe that one of the gateways that sin found a way to enter into the world is through things like child trauma, child development. And, yes, through the Holy Spirit, through the Ruach Kodesh, we're supposed to be able to use discernment. We're supposed to be born anew. So that is with the hope that you won't partake in these sinful acts that leads to trauma. But reality shows that these are discussions that need to be had over and over again. And what the Most High has been telling me is that, the types of behaviors that I'm going to be getting into will be completely unacceptable in this new world. Now, it is clear as day that things are changing. It is clear as day that we are in perilous times. These are very stressful times, and these are very different times, right? And it is very clear that we are not going back to the old ways of life. It is very clear that there is a great divide. of the righteous and the unrighteous, the true chosen and the untrue chosen, right? The untrue chosen is going down the path of destruction. They are self-destructing, right? And this is because the Most High has turned his face back towards his people. And nothing's going to change that. You know, nothing, that's not going to change. So what I am here to do, I really believe that one of my purposes is to really help people get to the real true root of the problem, the real true root of the sin, right? We have to nip these things right at the root in order for them to stop. Because like I said, the Most High is not having this type of stuff anymore. He will cut you off, you know. And one of the key components to these things changing is nipping it at its root. And a lot of this stems from childhood trauma, neglect, abandonment, identity issues. This is the start of sin, and so we must nip it at its root, because there is a new world coming, right? There is a great divide where the true chosen will be brought into their place of security, and the non-true chosen will be brought into self-destruction, right? And that is the great shift that is taking place. So this message is essentially for the true chosen. This is the type of education that the Most High is wanting us to have on a day-to-day basis. You know, isolate from the media, isolate from radio, isolate from news and television, all that stuff. And let's start to do our own teachings and start to focus on what is going to spiritually uplift us and bring us to that next level. And this is a message that is going to bring us to that next level. So I want to encourage everybody to tune into this message, because this is something that I feel that is greatly needed. So let's go ahead and get into it. So there are 7 things children need to thrive. And they are safety and security, love, acceptance, spiritual knowledge and understanding, food, shelter, and trust. These are the 7 key components that children need to be able to thrive. Now, that's not going to say that it's going to completely and utterly dispose of all the traumas that arise, you know, all the problems that come about. You know, there are people who struggle with mental disabilities, you know, psychological disabilities. But this will help negate a lot of, you know, the problems and sin that has risen in the world today. Now, I know there's a lot of adults that, you know, it's like a never-ending cycle. I know there's a lot of adults that struggle with a lack of patience, that struggle with a mild temper, you know, because they hadn't experienced those kind of things. But we have to turn this around in order for us to begin anew, because right now we are living in a tragedy. Okay, so let's get into it. So I just posted this, you know, it's good to eat healthy, but, you know, sometimes it's good to partake in little delicious treats, right? And those When I saw this, I was just like, those look really, really good right now. I could really use one of those donuts right now. But anyway, let's get back on topic. Children need safety and security. There's a lot of people walking around with a lot of mental health issues due to trauma, due to, issues of being molested as a child, due to incest, due to their parents touching them, their relatives touching them, a neighborhood friend touching them, right? I've seen a lot of stories where these kids are being abused by their parents, abused by a relative, a lot of abandonment issues of being abandoned by a parent, being abandoned by a relative, being abandoned by people they should be able to trust to be there for them, right? So there's a lot of people walking. Sorry, y'all. I think, my laptop shut off. I thought I was plugging it in, but apparently, it wasn't fully charged. Let's just take that as a attack to keep me from delivering this beautiful message that the Most High has given me. But let's get back on topic. There's people that are failing to address these issues. People don't feel comfortable, talking about, the trauma that they've encountered. So what they do is they hold that in, they internalize that. And so it's expressed outwardly to the world in other ways that are still, negative, that are still essentially sin, and so we have to nip this in the root, grab it from the root and take it out. And that this is what the Most High is leading me to discuss today, right? Because there's a lot of people walking around with underlying trauma that still has not yet been addressed, has not been fully brought to their own awareness, The Most High is not having this in his new kingdom. He's just simply not. Another thing that, a child needs in order to thrive is they need to feel loved and accepted, right? A lot of people today feel like they didn't get the true love and acceptance from their parents that they needed in order to be able to thrive. Because mommy or daddy wasn't there. Maybe both parents weren't there. And this is all due to the sin that is in the world today. People are having sexual relations with people they don't even plan on being with for more than a night. And so I'm going to get into that spiritual aspect of that. But that is one of the things one of the major problems is like people are just having sexual relations and having babies with individuals they can't even stand. And so then there's a child born into the world, and then they are trying to realize why my daddy wasn't there, why my mommy wasn't there, why my parents weren't there. And that's also mostly due to things entering into the world, like drug addiction, mental health addiction, mental health issues, trauma, right? That never ending generational cycle. But, you know, with the true chosen, with the righteous, the intent is for us to wait until the Most High guides us into being ready for a real relationship, a real marriage, letting the Most High guide us to the right person that he has chosen for us to be married to, so that we can stay in sustainable relationships, lasting relationships, loving relationships with our partner, so that we can give, our children the love and acceptance, safety and security that they need in order to be able to thrive. Because right now we're getting into marriages that the Most High has not called for us to be in. Right now we're getting in relationships that we are simply not ready for. And who suffers from that? The children suffer from that. Okay, and so that also correlates with spiritual knowledge and understanding. We need to have spiritual knowledge and understanding of the Most High, the Bible, the Sefer. We need to reconnect with our spiritual ancestors to have knowledge, understanding, and awareness, right? Because if we have these things, then also effects like discipline will come into play, right? Knowledge of what we need to be instilling in our children. This correlates back into a lot of these things, kind of interconnect with one another. So things like safety and security, we'll be able to know that our children need to be monitored 24/7. They simply just do. When they're playing with their friends, when they're playing with their relatives, when they're, home, they need to be safely monitored. They need to be spiritually guided. They need to know of the Most High. They need to have that discipline to where they know, every Sabbath we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about the Most High. Every night we're gonna before we lay our heads, we're gonna pray. We're gonna pray before we eat. They need to know, no, you're not going to talk back to your elders. This is not how you should be dressing. You shouldn't talk like that. You don't need to be talking back to your parents. You need to be doing your chores. These are the things that we need to be instilling in our children from the jump, because a lot of these people also too, because they lack that adult figure in their life to kind of guide them, because they lack that guidance. A lot of people today lack self-discipline. And so this is not what the Most High wants for his kingdom, right? We need to be kingdom-minded people. And that comes through spiritual knowledge, spiritual understanding, spiritual awareness. In order for us to guide our children in the appropriate direction that they need to go in. Right? So also to add to that, like with the safety and security, because it's all interconnects. Like, we have a lot of people today that, because of the trauma they experienced as a child, it kind of goes into why and who they are today, right? There's a lot of people in the LGBTQ, community who experience being molested. And so that's why they are who they are today, is because of those traumatic experiences. I experienced something traumatic in my growing up that I spoke about in past videos. And it could have went one of two ways. I thank God that he got me out of that. But it literally could have went one or two ways. I feel like I'm talking about something today. I'm going deep with it today, honey. Okay. So another few topics that children need to develop properly is food and shelter. They need to be brought up in an environment where they know they're going to have something to eat. They know they're going to have a roof over their head. Because these types of things, if they don't have enough of this, also leads to trauma, leads to sin. If children grow up experiencing these types of things. Because you can have outcomes, it could be literally one or two ways. Sometimes the struggles that we experience as child shape and mold us into who we become as adults. You either take it and mold it into something positive, or you mold it into something negative, right? But what happens when you don't have these struggles? We have yet to know that end of the spectrum. What happens if everyone is granted the opportunity to have these 7 basic elements in child development, right? What happens? Would the sin decrease or increase? The Most High is telling me that it would, in fact, decrease. So last but not least, it is trust. Our children need to be able to trust us. They need to feel comfortable coming to us and telling us, what's going on with them, right? What's on their mind, what they think, what they see, what they know. Our children need to be able to trust us to, care for them, provide for them, give them all of these other components in order for them to thrive and be at their best and to achieve and to have a relationship with the Most High and to know the Most High and to feel comfortable with living out their purpose and knowing who they truly are, without having to deal with, childhood trauma, issues of not feeling safe and secure, issues with not feeling loved, issues with not feeling accepted, issues with not having any spiritual knowledge or spiritual understanding, issues with not having food, shelter, and clothing on their backs, right? They need to be able to trust us. They need to be able to have something to guide them into their adulthood. They need, like a little cheat sheet, right? Something they can refer back to and say, this is what my mother did. This is what my father did when they're having troubles with, how to rear their own children, how to get through, food insecurity, income insecurity. They can refer back to, what my parents did. I remember my parents getting on their knees and praying. I remember my parents going outdoors and connecting with spirit. They need these types of things to refer back to. And that's what this world has been trying to steer the true chosen away from even gaining this knowledge back, right? But we need to be able to instill these core values into our children so that they can never divert from it. So I pray y'all are having a blessed week so far. I've really been getting some real rest. I think I talked about this in my last video where I said I just wasn't really rested. I was moving here, moving there. I had a lot of things to do. So this week I've really just been trying to focus on getting the rest that I need. The Most High has really been moving in me. So, the last 2 days, I've really been doing a real good clean of my house, spiritually cleansing, my home, in order for me to deliver this message that I feel is extremely needed, because I feel like a lot of the sinful problems that has arisen today has to do with the root problem of childhood trauma. And so we have to address these problems head on instead of dealing with surface problems. And we need to address the real issues that are going on with people. And so I believe, I do plan on being back this Friday with another hot topics discussion. So y'all be on the lookout for that. You know what I'm saying? Each one teach one. That is my main objective for this. I did say that I am a light bearer, and my purpose is to bring light. My purpose is to help the community, right? And I can only do that if I have an active audience. So please feel free to engage in these topics and discussions. Please feel free to let me know what you think. Let me know some other things that you feel like needs to be addressed with childhood development and trauma, and just, let me know what you think. Can you relate? Do you see this being a problem? So that's all I want to say today. I'm sending y'all peace, love, light. Y'all already know what it do and what it is over here. Shalom.